The trading post sat at the edge of the desert like a tired old building that had seen too many suns. It was a place where people came and went, where horses were traded, and where travelers stopped to rest. The air always smelled of dust, leather, and smoke. Inside there were crates stacked high, ropes hanging from hooks, and a few benches where men would sit and talk. The place was not big, but it was busy. A cowboy named Jack rode into the trading post one late afternoon. He was not young, but he was not old either. His face was sunburned and rough, and his clothes were worn from years on the road. His hat was pulled low over his eyes. Jack was not a man who talked much. He rode alone, and he preferred it that way. Jack needed supplies. He had a long ride ahead, and he wanted to make sure he had enough food, water, and tools. The trading post was a good place for that. The trader, a man named Tom, knew Jack well. Tom was always smiling, but his smile never reached his eyes. He was the kind of man who cared most about money. "Jack?" Tom said when he saw him. "Back again, huh?" Jack nodded. "Need supplies?" Tom nodded too. "Sure thing. I got what you need. But I also got something else, something you might be interested in." Jack raised his head. "What is it?" Tom leaned closer, lowering his voice.
"A woman. Apache."
"Been here for a while. She's..." Quiet Jack looked toward the back of the store. He saw her sitting near the wall. She was not loud or angry. She was not smiling either. She looked tired, like she had been waiting for something that never came. She had dark hair, long and straight, tied back in a simple braid. Her clothes were plain, and they looked old. Her eyes were dark and calm. She looked at Jack for a moment, then looked away. She did not show fear, but she also did not show hope. It was like she had learned long ago that hope could be taken away. Jack did not like the idea of a woman being sold. He had seen too many things in his life. He had seen people treated like objects, but he did not speak at first. He waited to see what Tom would say. Tom walked toward Jack, and his smile returned. "She's a good worker. Quiet. Doesn't cause trouble." Jack's jaw tightened. "How much?" Tom named a price. It was more money than Jack had expected to spend, but not impossible. Jack did not respond. He was thinking. The woman spoke softly, in a voice that did not ask for help. She spoke as if she had already learned that nobody would listen. "Don't waste your money on me," she said. "I'm not worth it." Her words were calm, but there was something strong in them. She sounded like someone who had been through a lot, someone who had learned not to trust anyone. Jack looked at her, surprised. He had expected her to beg. He had expected her to cry, but she did not. Jack turned to Tom. "Why is she here?" Tom shrugged. "She was taken, then sold, then brought here."
"Nobody wants her. That's why she's still here."
Jack looked back at the woman. She was still quiet, still calm. She did not look at Tom. She did not look at Jack again. She stared at the floor like she was trying to remember something. Jack felt a strange feeling in his chest. It was not pity. It was not anger. It was something else. He did not know what it was. He had always believed in doing what was right, but he also believed in staying out of other people's business. This time, he was not sure. Tom spoke again. "You can take her."
"She's cheap. She'll do work. She'll cook. She'll clean."
"She won't cause trouble." Jack's mind raced. He thought about the long ride ahead. He thought about the supplies he needed. He thought about the desert and the loneliness. He thought about how hard life could be, but he also thought about the woman. He thought about her voice. He thought about how she had said, "Don't waste your money on me." She sounded like someone who had already lost everything. He wondered what she had been through. He wondered how long she had been waiting. Jack walked closer to her. He did not touch her. He did not speak too loudly. He wanted to show respect, not ownership. He said, "What's your name?" The woman looked up slowly. Her eyes met his for a moment. Then she looked away. She did not answer at first. Then she spoke in a quiet voice. "No one remembers it." Jack nodded. "Okay."
That's fine. The woman did not look happy.
She did not look sad either. She looked like someone who had learned to survive by not feeling too much. Jack looked at Tom again. "What happens if I buy her?" Tom smiled. "She stays. She works. You get what you paid for." Jack frowned. "That's not what I mean." Tom shrugged. "You can do what you want. It's your money." Jack did not like the way Tom said it. He felt like Tom was selling more than a person. He felt like he was selling a story. He felt like he was selling a life. Jack turned back to the woman. He could see her breathing slowly, carefully. He could see her hands resting on her knees. He could see how tired she was. He could see that she had been through too much. He spoke again. "You don't have to stay here. If you want, you can come with me." The woman stared at him. Her eyes widened for a moment. It was the first sign of surprise he had seen on her face. But then she quickly returned to her calm expression. "You don't know me," she said. Jack shook his head.
No, but I know what it's like to be alone.
The woman's mouth tightened slightly. She did not say anything else. Jack turned to Tom. "How much?" Tom repeated the price, and Jack reached into his bag. He counted the money carefully. He had enough. He had worked hard for it. He did not want to spend it on something that would cause trouble, but he also did not want to leave the woman there. Jack handed the money to Tom. Tom took it with a smile. He did not care what happened next. He was only happy to get paid. The woman watched the money change hands. She did not move. She did not show any emotion, but Jack could feel her watching him. Tom said, "She's yours now." He did not speak. He did not want to say anything that would upset her. He simply walked toward the door. The woman stood up slowly. She did not rush. She did not run. She moved like someone who had learned that hurry often led to trouble. Jack opened the door and stepped outside. The sun was still high, and the desert looked endless. He waited for the woman to follow. She stood at the doorway for a moment. Then she stepped out. Her feet were bare, and she walked carefully. She looked like she was not used to the rough ground. But she did not complain. She did not ask for help. Jack watched her. He felt a strange responsibility in his chest. He did not know what to do next. He did not know how to help her. He only knew that he had made a choice, and now he had to follow through. The woman walked beside Jack. She did not speak. Jack did not speak either. The silence between them was heavy, but not uncomfortable. It was the kind of silence that happens when two people are trying to understand each other without words. Jack led his horse closer. He opened the saddlebag and offered her water. She took it slowly. She drank without looking at him. Jack said softly, "We'll ride at dawn." The woman nodded once. Then she looked up at the sky. She seemed to be thinking about something far away. Jack felt the wind on his face. He felt the dust under his boots. He felt the weight of what he had done. He had bought a person, but he had also given her a chance. He did not know if she would trust him. He did not know if she would stay. He did not know if she would ever feel safe again. But he knew one thing. He had chosen to help. And that choice would change both of their lives. The sun was just rising when Jack and the woman started their journey. The desert was quiet and the air was cool. The sky was light blue, and the first rays of sunlight made the sand look like gold. Jack walked beside his horse while the woman rode. She looked nervous, but she tried to act calm. Jack could tell she was not used to traveling like this. He could tell she had been trapped in a life where she had no choice. Jack did not speak much. He knew that talking too much could make things worse. He also knew that the woman might not trust him. So he tried to give her space. He rode slowly, letting her set the pace. He did not push her to do anything. The woman looked out at the desert. She watched the sand and the distant hills. She seemed to be thinking about something, but she did not say what. Jack did not ask. Doe. He knew that questions could feel like pressure. They rode for several hours. The sun rose higher, and the air grew warmer. The desert was empty except for a few birds and the sound of the wind. Jack stopped at a small area where there was a thin stream of water. It was not much, but it was enough for them to drink. Jack set down the water skin and offered it to the woman. She took it carefully. She drank slowly, as if she was afraid the water would disappear. Jack watched her. He saw how her hands shook slightly. He realized that she had not had enough food or water in a long time. "Are you hungry?" Jack asked softly. The woman paused. She looked at him. Then she nodded once. Jack took out some bread and dried meat from his bag. He offered it to her. She took a small piece. She did not eat quickly. She chewed slowly, as if she was trying to remember how to enjoy food. Jack ate too, but he did not rush. He watched her, and he wondered about her life. He wondered what her family was like. He wondered if she remembered them. He wondered if she missed them. The woman finished her food. She did not say anything. Jack could tell she was still thinking. He waited. After a while, the woman spoke. "Why did you buy me?" Jack looked at her. He did not expect the question. He thought about how to answer. "I didn't like the way you were treated," he said finally. "I didn't like that you had no choice." The woman looked at him with a small frown. "But you don't know me." "You don't know what I have done," Jack nodded. "No, I don't. But I know you are a person, and people should not be treated like objects." The woman looked away. She seemed to be trying to hide her feelings. But Jack could see a small change in her eyes. It was like she was surprised that someone cared. They continued their journey. The sun climbed higher and the heat grew stronger. The desert looked endless. The woman rode quietly. Jack walked beside the horse, holding the reins. At one point, they passed a small group of men traveling with wagons. The men looked at the woman. They whispered to each other. Jack could see their eyes, and he could feel their judgment. It was not a friendly look. It was the look of people who saw a person as something they could own. Jack felt anger rise in his chest, but he did not show it. He knew that showing anger would not help. He knew that the woman did not need more fear, so he kept his face calm. The woman noticed the men looking at her. She tightened her grip on the reins. Her body became tense. Jack could see that she was afraid. Jack leaned closer and said, "Don't worry, they can't touch you." The woman did not respond, but her shoulders relaxed a little. She still looked nervous, but she seemed to trust Jack a bit more. They rode on. The desert began to change. The sand turned into rocks. The land became rougher. The sky stayed bright, but the air was less hot. It felt like they were moving toward a different world. Jack knew the area well. He had traveled through these lands many times. He knew where to find water, where to rest, and where to avoid trouble. He was not only a cowboy, he was also a guide. He knew how to survive. As the day went on, the woman began to ask small questions. They were simple questions, but Jack could tell they were important. She asked about the land, about the animals, and about the road ahead. Jack answered carefully. He did not want to give her too much information too fast. He wanted her to feel safe. He wanted her to feel that she could trust him. When they stopped for the night, Jack built a small fire. He did not make it too big. He wanted to keep it quiet. He did not want to draw attention. The desert was full of people who would not hesitate to take advantage of a woman traveling alone. Jack offered the woman a blanket. She took it and wrapped it around herself. She sat near the fire, watching the flames. She did not speak much. She seemed to be lost in thought. Jack sat across from her. He watched the fire too. He thought about how hard her life had been. He thought about how many times she must have been told that she was worthless. He thought about how many times she must have been forced to do things she did not want to do. Jack felt a deep sadness, but he also felt a strange hope. He hoped that she could find a new life. He hoped that she could find a place where she could be safe. The woman finally spoke. "I don't know if I can trust you." Jack nodded. "I understand." The woman looked at him. "People always say that."
But they don't mean it. Jack nodded again.
"I know." The woman paused. She looked down at her hands. "I have been treated like I am nothing. I have been told that I don't matter. I have been told that I am not worth anything." Jack listened. He did not interrupt. He knew that the woman needed to say these things. She continued, her voice quiet. "When I was taken, I thought it would be for a short time. I thought I would return. But time passed. People changed. I changed. I forgot who I was." Jack felt his heart tighten. He did not know what to say. He had no words that could fix her pain. He could only listen. The woman looked at him again.
"You could leave me. You could take your horse and ride away."
Jack shook his head. "I won't." The woman looked surprised. She blinked. "Why?" Jack took a deep breath. "Because I promised. And because you are a person. You deserve a chance." The woman looked down again. She did not say anything else, but Jack could see that something had shifted. She was not smiling, she was not happy, but she was not as tense as before. That night, the woman slept for the first time in a long time without fear. She slept with her body relaxed. She slept without worrying about being taken away again. Jack watched her sleep. He felt a sense of responsibility that he had not felt in years. He knew that the road ahead would not be easy. He knew that he would have to protect her. But he also knew that he could not control everything. He could only do his best. The next morning, the woman woke up early. She looked at the horizon. She seemed to be thinking. She turned to Jack and said, "I want to go somewhere, not just to your home. Somewhere I can be free." Jack nodded. "I understand." The woman looked at him. "I don't know if I will ever be able to trust anyone, but I want to try." Jack smiled slightly. That's all anyone can ask. They continued their journey. The woman walked beside the horse sometimes. She rode sometimes. She learned to trust the road again. She learned that not everyone wanted to hurt her, and as they traveled, the distance between the past and the future slowly began to grow. The desert began to change again as Jack and the woman moved farther away from the trading post. The land became greener. Small bushes appeared. The ground became less sandy. Jack knew they were moving closer to his home. He could feel it in the air. The wind smelled different. It felt cooler. Jack rode slower now. He wanted to give the woman time. He wanted her to adjust. He wanted her to feel safe. He also wanted to make sure that she did not feel forced. He wanted her to understand that she could choose. The woman had been quiet that morning. She had walked beside the horse for a while, then rode again. Jack watched her. He could see her thinking. He could see her trying to understand what was happening. At one point, she stopped and looked at Jack. "What will happen when we get to your home?" she asked. Jack paused. He thought carefully before answering. He knew that the truth could be hard, but he also knew that honesty was important. "You can stay as long as you want," he said, "or you can leave. It's your choice." The woman looked at him with surprise. "You really mean that?" Jack nodded. "Yes. I don't want to force you. I want you to decide." The woman looked away. She seemed to be thinking. "I have never had a choice before," she said softly. "I don't know how to decide." Jack listened. He understood. He knew that when a person has been controlled for a long time, it can be hard to make choices. The mind learns to follow orders. The heart learns to obey. They continued walking. The sun rose higher. The day became warmer. They reached a small stream. Jack stopped and offered the woman water. She drank and then sat on a rock. She looked at the water as if it reminded her of something. Jack noticed that she was staring at the stream for a long time. He wondered if it reminded her of a memory. He wondered if it reminded her of home. He did not ask. He did not want to make her feel uncomfortable. He waited. The woman finally spoke. "Do you think I can ever go back?" Jack looked at her. "Back to where?" She looked at him with a serious face. "Back to my people." Jack felt a sudden sadness. He did not know what to say. He had not thought about that question before. He had been focused on getting her away from the trading post, not on what she wanted after. "I don't know," Jack said honestly, "but I can help you try." The woman nodded. She did not smile, but she seemed to appreciate the answer. She looked at Jack with a small amount of trust. They continued their journey. The road became easier. The trees became taller. The air became cooler. The land looked more like a place where people could live. Jack began to talk more now. He told the woman about his home. He told her about the small cabin he lived in. He told her about the land and the animals. He did not talk about himself too much. He did not want to make her feel like she had to know him. But he wanted her to know that he was not a dangerous man. The woman listened. She asked questions. She seemed interested. But she seemed to want to learn. It was the first time Jack had seen her show interest in something other than survival. When they reached the edge of Jack's land, the woman stopped. She looked at the cabin in the distance. It was small and simple. It was not a fancy place. It was a home. The woman looked at the cabin for a long time. Jack could see her thoughts in her eyes. She was thinking about what her life would be like. She was thinking about what she would do. She was thinking about whether she could stay. Jack walked closer. He did not rush her. He wanted to let her choose. "You don't have to come in if you don't want to," Jack said softly. The woman looked at him. She shook her head. "I will come in. I want to see." Jack nodded. He opened the gate and led the horse inside. The cabin door was open. The smell of wood and smoke was there. It was simple, but it was clean. Jack stepped inside first. He set down his bag. He looked around. He wanted to make sure everything was safe. Then he turned to the woman. "Come in," he said. The woman stepped inside slowly. She looked at everything. She touched the table with her fingers. She looked at the bed. She looked at the small stove. She looked at the shelves. She looked like someone who was seeing something for the first time. Jack watched her. He could see that she was overwhelmed. He could see that she did not know what to feel. He said softly, "This is your home too, if you want it." The woman looked at him. She seemed to be thinking.
Hi, everyone. How was it dirty?
She looked down at her hands. She looked back at him. "I don't know if I can stay," she said, "but I want to try." Jack nodded. He felt relief. He did not know why, but he felt relief. He felt like a weight had been lifted from his shoulders. The woman sat down at the table. She looked at Jack. She said, "What is your name?" Jack smiled slightly. "Jack." The woman nodded. She said, "My name is Asha." Jack nodded again. "Nice to meet you, Asha." Asha looked at him. She seemed to be thinking. "I don't know how to do things here," she said. "I don't know how to live like this." Jack nodded.
You don't have to know. You can learn.
Asha looked down. "I don't know if I can learn." Jack sat beside her. He spoke gently.
You can. You just need time.
Asha nodded. She looked at the window. She watched the trees outside. She seemed to be thinking about the future. That night, Jack cooked a simple meal. He offered it to Asha. She ate slowly. She did not talk much, but Jack could see that she was trying. She was trying to live. After dinner, Jack brought out a small blanket for her. He offered it to her. She took it and wrapped it around herself. She sat near the fire again. Jack sat across from her. He watched the flames. He thought about how far they had come. He thought about how much had changed in a short time. Asha spoke softly. "Do you ever feel lonely?" Jack looked at her. He thought about his life. He thought about all the times he had been alone. He thought about how he had lived on the road. He thought about how he had never had someone to share his life with.
Yes, Jack said. I feel lonely sometimes.
Asha nodded. She looked down. "I feel lonely too." Jack looked at her. He did not say anything. He knew that words were not enough. He knew that trust would take time. The next morning, Asha woke up early. She went outside and walked around the cabin. She looked at the land. She touched the plants. She seemed curious. She seemed to want to understand. Jack watched her from the doorway. He felt a small smile on his face. He felt like she was starting to live again. Asha turned to him. She said, "I want to learn how to work." Jack nodded. "I can teach you." Asha looked at him. She smiled slightly. It was the first smile Jack had seen from her. It was small, but it was real. Jack knew the road ahead would still be difficult. He knew that Asha would have hard moments. He knew that she would have to face the memories of the past. But he also knew that she had taken the first step toward a new life. And for the first time in a long time, Asha was not just surviving. She was starting to live. Days turned into weeks as Asha began learning the rhythm of life at Jack's homestead. The land was small but fertile with a few patches of crops, a stable for the horse, and a small orchard with young trees. Jack had spent years taking care of the place, and it showed. Everything was neat and organized. Asha was amazed at how much work went into keeping a home running. but she wanted to learn. She wanted to feel capable again. At first, the tasks were simple. Jack showed her how to feed the animals, and she brushed the horse carefully, learning the right way to hold the reins and how to calm the creature when it got restless. She learned to collect water from the well and carry it without spilling, a skill she had never needed in her life before. Jack was patient. He repeated instructions slowly, never raising his voice, and he never corrected her harshly. He allowed her to make mistakes and to fix them herself. Some mornings, Asha walked in the orchard. She ran her hands over the leaves of the young trees, feeling the rough bark beneath her fingers. Jack watched her from a distance as she examined the fruit. "Be careful with them," he said softly one day. "They need time to grow." Asha nodded, her face serious.
"I will not ruin them," she said. She meant it.
For the first time in a long time, she felt responsibility, not as a burden, but as a way to live. Evenings were quieter. After the work was done, Jack and Asha would sit outside, sometimes in silence, sometimes talking about the day. They spoke about the wind, the sun, the birds that flew overhead, and the small animals that scurried through the grass. Asha asked questions about life, about how Jack learned to survive alone, and sometimes about the people she had once known. Jack answered honestly, never forcing stories out of her, but offering small truths when she asked. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the hills, Asha spoke quietly. "I didn't think I could feel safe again," she said. "Not after everything." Jack nodded. He did not try to cheer her with empty words. He knew she needed honesty. "I know. And you might not always feel safe, but I promise I will not let anything happen to you here." Asha looked at him. She did not smile, but there was a small softness in her expression. It was the first sign that she was starting to trust him, not fully, but enough to believe in his actions. Life continued in small steps. Asha learned to cook simple meals. She learned to wash clothes and mend torn fabric. Each task was small, but each task made her feel more like herself. She began to smile more, though still quietly. She laughed occasionally, especially when the horse acted stubborn or when she spilled water by accident. These were small victories, but they mattered greatly. Jack noticed these changes too. He could see her growing stronger. He could see her confidence building, one careful action at a time. Sometimes he would give her advice, not as a teacher, but as a guide. "Pay attention to the ground," he said one day when they were walking near the field. "The earth tells you what it needs if you just watch." Asha nodded. She learned quickly. She began to understand patterns in the land and in the animals. She began to feel connected to this home, and for the first time, she allowed herself to hope that she could have a life that belonged to her. There were still moments of doubt. Sometimes she would stare into the distance, silent and tense. Jack knew she was thinking about the past, about the people she had lost, about the years when she had no choice. He never pushed her to speak. He simply waited, understanding that healing could not be rushed. One morning, a neighbor came to visit Jack. The man was friendly but curious, and he immediately noticed Asha. He asked simple questions about her, how she was, where she had come from. Asha answered politely but briefly. Jack watched her closely, ready to step in if she became uncomfortable. But she handled the conversation herself. She spoke with calm confidence. When the neighbor left, Jack asked softly, "Are you okay?" Asha nodded. "Yes, I can do this." Jack smiled slightly. "Good. You're stronger than you think." Asha began to understand that strength did not always come from fighting or running. Strength came from learning, from understanding, from small daily choices. Each morning she woke up and chose to care for herself, to care for the land, and to care for her life. Each day she practiced patience, and each day she felt a little freer. One afternoon, Jack asked her to help him repair a fence. It was hard work, bending over and hammering nails, but Asha embraced it. Her hands were sore by the end of the day, but she felt satisfaction she had never felt before. The fence would hold animals in place, and she had helped make that happen. She looked at the structure and felt pride. Jack noticed her pride and said quietly, "You did well today." Asha's face softened. "Thank you," she said. "I didn't think I could do it." Jack shook his head.
You can do more than you think. You just need the chance to try.
Over time, Asha began to take more initiative. She planned small tasks around the cabin. She started planting seeds in a small patch of soil near the house. She watered the plants carefully, watching them grow. She took note of what worked and what didn't. Jack watched her progress and said little. He understood that her learning was hers alone, and he did not want to interfere. As the weeks passed, Asha began to talk about the future. "I want to learn more," she said one evening. "I want to be able to do everything here myself." Jack nodded. "You will. It will take time, but you can do it." Asha smiled slightly. It was not a full smile, but it was genuine. Jack could see the change in her. She was no longer the quiet, fearful woman from the trading post. She was becoming someone who could make decisions, someone who could care for herself, and someone who could look at the world and see possibilities instead of only limitations. One day they were walking along the edge of the land when Asha stopped and looked at the horizon. "Do you think I could ever go back to my people?" she asked. Jack thought for a moment. "Maybe. God.
If you want to, I can help you.
But only if it's your choice." Asha nodded. "I think I want to learn more here first. I want to be strong before I decide anything." Jack smiled. "That's wise. Bye."
You don't need to rush. The days continued with routine and learning.
Asha became more independent. She could cook, clean, care for animals, and tend to the land without help. She even began to teach herself small things, testing ideas and learning from mistakes. Jack encouraged her quietly, proud of her perseverance. One night as the stars appeared in the sky, Asha and Jack sat near the fire. The air was cool, and the wind whispered through the trees. Asha spoke softly. "I never thought I could feel safe again. But now I do. I don't feel like I'm trapped anymore." Jack nodded. "Good. You deserve that feeling." Asha looked at him. "I still think about the past. I still remember everything that happened. But I don't feel afraid anymore. Not the way I used to." Jack smiled slightly. "That's progress. Healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means moving forward anyway."
Asha leaned back, looking at the stars.
She felt calm for the first time in many years. She had survived, learned, and begun to live. She had been given a chance, and she had taken it. She was not just surviving, she was building a life, step by step, with choices, care, and quiet strength. Jack watched her quietly. He felt a sense of hope that he had not felt in a long time. He had offered her freedom and safety, and she had embraced it. Together, they had created something new, a life that was theirs to shape. And in that quiet desert land under the stars and the gentle wind, Asha and Jack knew that while the past could never be erased, the future could be built, patiently, one day at a time. The days were still full of work, but the work felt different now. It was not only about survival. It was about building something. Asha had become strong and confident. She knew the routine of the home, the animals, and the land. She knew how to take care of herself. She knew how to plan for the future. Jack watched her grow with quiet pride. He did not say it often, but he felt it deeply. He was happy to see Asha become a person again. He was happy to see her laugh more, to see her smile, to see her move with purpose. He knew that her life was changing because she had chosen to change it. One morning, Asha woke up early and went outside. She looked at the horizon and took a deep breath. The air was fresh and the sun was still low. She felt calm, but her mind was busy. She was thinking about what she wanted next. She was thinking about her past and her future. Asha walked to the edge of the land and sat on a rock. She looked at the distant hills and the wide sky. She thought about her people. She thought about her family. She thought about the life she had lost. She wondered if she would ever see them again. She wondered if they were still alive. The thoughts made her feel a mix of sadness and hope. She had learned to live again, but she still had questions that did not go away. She did not want to forget her past. She only wanted to find peace with it. Jack came outside and sat beside her. He did not speak at first. He knew that sometimes silence was better. After a few minutes, he asked, "What are you thinking about?" Asha looked at him. She smiled slightly. "I'm thinking about my future," she said. "And my past." Jack nodded. "That's a good place to think." Asha turned to him. "I want to find out if my family is alive," she said. "I want to know if my people are okay. I want to know if I can go back." Jack listened carefully. He could see the determination in her eyes. He could also see the fear. He knew that the journey would not be easy, but he also knew that she deserved to know the truth. Jack said, "If you want to try, I will help you." Asha nodded. "I want to try, but I don't want to leave you. I don't want to leave this home." Jack looked at her. He understood. He knew that she had started to care for him and for the home. He also knew that he did not want her to leave if she did not truly want to. He wanted her to choose freely. Jack said, "You don't have to decide right now.
We can plan slowly. We can prepare.
You can choose what is best for you." Asha nodded. "Thank you." They spent the next few days preparing. Jack taught Asha how to read a map and how to understand the directions. He showed her how to plan a trip safely. They collected supplies, food, and water. They made sure the horse was strong and healthy. They made a list of places they could visit. They made a plan that would not be rushed. Asha felt nervous, but she also felt excited. She had not felt excitement in a long time. It was a new feeling, and it was good. When the day came to leave, Asha packed her things. She packed a few clothes, a small blanket, some food, and a water skin. She also packed a small notebook. She wanted to write down what she saw. She wanted to remember everything. Jack watched her pack. He did not say much. He wanted to be strong for her. He wanted to show her that he respected her decision. When Asha was ready, she looked at Jack. "Will you come with me?" she asked. Jack paused. He thought about it. He thought about the life he had built here. He thought about the home. He thought about the responsibility he had to keep the land safe. He also thought about Asha and her need to know her past. Jack finally said, "Yes, I will come with you, but only if you want me to." Asha nodded. "I want you to come. I don't want to go alone." Jack smiled slightly. "Then we will go together." They set out early in the morning. The land looked different as they left. The cabin seemed smaller. The trees looked closer together. Asha felt a strange feeling in her chest. She felt both sadness and hope. She felt like she was leaving something behind, but she was also moving towards something important. The journey was long. They traveled through valleys and hills, through forests and open land. I and I and I and I and I. Asha learned to read the signs of the road. She learned to listen to the sounds of nature. She learned to understand the wind and the weather. Jack was proud of her. He could see that she was becoming more confident with each day. Along the way, they met different people. Some were kind and helpful. Some were curious. Some were quiet. Asha learned to speak to them. She learned how to ask questions politely. She learned how to listen. She learned how to trust her own instincts. One day, they arrived at a small village. The people there were friendly. They welcomed them and offered food. Asha felt nervous, but she also felt welcomed. She had not felt that in a long time. A woman in the village noticed Asha and asked where she came from. Asha told her the truth. She told her that she was trying to find her family. The woman listened carefully. Then she nodded slowly. I think I know someone who might help, the woman said. There are people here who know about the Apache. They might know where your family is. Asha's eyes widened. She felt a sudden rush of hope. She thanked the woman. Jack watched her closely. He could see the hope in her face. He could see that she was finally taking a step toward answers. The woman introduced Asha to a man who had knowledge of the area and the people. He listened to her story and asked questions. Asha answered honestly. She spoke about her past, her loss, and her time at the trading post. The man thought for a moment. Then he said, "There is a place not too far from here where some Apache families live. They might know about your family." Asha felt her heart beat faster. She looked at Jack. "Is this true?" she asked. Jack nodded. "It sounds like it." Asha turned to the man.
Can you take me there? The man nodded. Yes.
"I can guide you." Asha felt a mix of fear and hope. She knew that she might find her family. She also knew that she might not. She knew that the truth could be difficult, but she wanted to know. They traveled for a few more days. The land changed again. The air felt different. The trees were taller. The world felt more alive. Asha felt like she was moving towards something important. When they finally arrived at the Apache village, Asha felt her heart beating loudly. She looked at the people around her. She saw families, children, and elders. She saw people laughing and talking. She saw life. Asha stepped forward slowly. She felt nervous. She looked at the faces. She wondered if anyone would recognize her. She wondered if anyone would remember her. Then, an elder woman looked at Asha closely. The woman's eyes widened. She stared for a moment, and then her face changed. She looked surprised, then sad, then hopeful. "Asha?" the woman asked softly. Asha felt tears fill her eyes. She nodded slowly. "Yes," she said. "It's me." The elder woman stepped forward and hugged Asha. Asha felt a wave of emotion she had not felt in years. She felt relief, sadness, and joy all at once. She had found her people. Jack watched from a distance. He felt a mix of happiness and quiet sadness. He was happy that Asha had found her family. He was sad because he knew that her life might change again. He knew that she might leave, but he also knew that she deserved this moment. Asha stayed with her family for a while. She talked with them, listened to their stories, and learned about what had happened in the years she was gone. She learned that her family had been searching for her. They had never given up hope. Asha felt a deep sense of peace. She felt like a part of her had returned. She also felt a new sense of strength. She had survived. She had learned. She had found her way back. After some time, Asha returned to Jack. She had made a choice. She chose to stay with him, not because she had to, but because she wanted to. She wanted to build a life with the person who had given her a chance. She wanted to build a home that was hers. Jack welcomed her back quietly. He did not demand anything. He simply accepted her choice. He understood that her past would always be part of her, but that her future could be shaped by her own decisions. Asha and Jack continued to live on the land. They worked together, learned together, and built a life that was based on respect and trust. Asha never forgot her past, but she also did not let it control her. She chose to live, and in the quiet land, under the wide sky, Asha finally felt free. "Don't waste your money on me," said the Apache slave woman. But the cowboy paid and took her home.